Good afternoon. This is Lance Bryce with Thrive Mortgage. Today is Wednesday, the 28th of June. I hope you're doing well. We are seeing interest rates, as we discussed last week, they are still just dead flat. I can't recall a month where we've had rates just really not move at all. The Mortgage News Daily average for the 30-year fixed conforming, 6.91% today. 6.90% this same time last week, 6.95% 30 days ago. We've talked on our previous two calls about some of the reasons for that. The bond market is really looking for some breakout news one way or the other before we're going to see significant movement in rates. We may get an opportunity for that on Friday. Personal consumption expenditures comes out on Friday. That is the Fed's favorite read on inflation. So if that report comes in more favorable than expected, then we may see some movement there. Of course, the reverse is also true. The market is really looking for guidance about where the Fed's going to be headed, and the Fed has really communicated well that data is going to drive that decision as far as further tightening is concerned. Y'all, we are looking at circumstances where we're seeing very limited supply on the market right now. Folks are not listing their homes. We are sitting at record low levels of inventory. That is frustrating buyers that want to get in there, and it's frustrating sellers that would otherwise want to move. They're frustrated because, as we've discussed in the past, they're trapped with the rates that they are now enjoying on their current home in all likelihood. Most folks are going to have a rate in the low threes, or they're going to be potentially in the mid to high twos, depending on when they bought or refinanced that home. And that's the majority of homeowners that are out there today, folks. Those artificially low rates are not doing us any favors today. It really doesn't matter where governmental intervention makes itself known. When we have artificially low rates, that is as damaging in the long run as artificially high rates will be. So it would be great if we lived in a world where the supply of money drove the cost of money, but that is not the world we live in. Politicians have their hands on it, and we're seeing some of the results of that and some of the unintended consequences of that. But we need to strategize together about how to get past it. So there are some things that I think a lot of potential home buyers don't consider when it comes to moving forward. Number one, tight supply does enable them to build equity more quickly in their house. Their house is worth more money because there's fewer of them for sale. So we've seen some nice growth in the value of those homes over the last 3 years. They may have significant money to put down on the next house. And here's an area where I spend a lot of time counseling borrowers. A lot of folks are just going to have the knee-jerk reaction of taking that equity, dropping it into the new house, and financing as little as possible on the new house. And certainly there's a lot of reason to do that. But there's also some considerations that they might want to weigh. First is the cost, or the benefit rather, of putting money down. With rates knocking on the door 7%, if you finance $1,000 at 7%, the payment on it is $6.65 a month for a 30-year fixed rate loan. Another way to say that is, for every $1,000 you put down, you're saving less than $7 a month on your monthly payment. There are ways to get way more bang for the buck without spending that amount of money, right? So if you were to look at a 30-year fixed rate loan for a really well-qualified buyer, putting 5% down, the monthly mortgage insurance on that, $86 a month. And if they do a single premium on that mortgage insurance, they're going to pay roughly $4,500 for that, right? But that gives them an $86 savings. Well, you would have to put $13,000 down to get that same monthly savings. So there's one idea. A single upfront premium is a great place to invest those funds rather than necessarily dropping them down on the house. Buying down the rate. We're seeing nice benefits from buying rates down in the current marketplace. I've seen circumstances where a point will buy you a half point in rate. Now that changes daily, y'all, based on market supply or money supply from day to day. But let's just take a 7% example. You knock that down to 6.5%. That borrower is going to pay on a $450,000 loan, $4,500 for that rate buy down. That saves them $142 a month. That's what that half point gives them on a $450,000 loan. They'd have to put down $21,000 for that same benefit. So there are things to do to lower the payment without necessarily dropping all of that cash into the house. And if they then take the money they didn't put into the new home and invest it, well, then the yield on those investments directly offsets that higher payment on the house they're buying. So these are the things that I geek out on, y'all. I love sharing these strategies with borrowers. There's still a lot of exciting places to invest money other than dropping it into a house. Some of those are riskier than others, right? So, but that's part of the conversation that I like to have with folks as they're considering what they're going to do. In any event, I hope that guidance is helpful to you and to your clients. As always, you've got my contact information on the screen. I'm blessed to have your referrals. Always honored to receive them. Hope everyone stays safe, stays blessed. We will talk to you next week.